I think that was
John
funny.
said that was too
but
high.
I don't think you're taking accountability either.
I said that if anyone else had told me that Tate thing was worth talking about, I will give.
But you blogged it, Kel.
No, I replied to his blog,
That's what I mean.
and all I got in response to it from anybody was, Dan, hey, great blog. I thought
But
it was
how
over.
often do I don't know, I've done a radio, we've done shows for 10 years. I don't ever talk about what
his
people text
original
me
blog
about.
made no sense to me.
It's another edition of KFC Radio on the Barstool Sports Network. Today's episode is presented by a company that I have been chasing down for the last decade, a company that I have been quite literally begging to work with since I started podcasting. It is my Great White Buffalo. We have finally attained it. Today's episode of KFC Radio is brought to you by KFC. Finally.
So annoying in your headphones, I bet.
Sure. But you know what? It sounds crisp as hell because Pavs has some new audio stuff going on that sounds extra crispy. We'll talk about that in a minute and why Jackie might have to wear a helmet for a month. But KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, is finally sponsoring Kevin Francis, Clancy, and KFC Radio. It's been basically a decade of me asking for it and then being like, you guys are too crazy. I don't know if we can do it. And finally, with the... Oh, my God, my mouth is watering. I don't even know if I can do that. If I can talk. My mouth is watering.
We had a little onboarding meeting with them last week, and they were like, so are you going to eat the food? I'm gonna do nothing but eat the food, just so you know.
I will try my best to not chew into my
KFC Radio is now a fucking mukbang. That is, it's just me sitting here eating KFC.
Well, let me tell you what's going on here. And sometimes it's better. It's better to wait. What's it called? You know, it's better. You know. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I know what you're saying.
Because all these
Listen
years,
to that, Detroit.
sometimes it's better, you know, to let things grow and happen organically over time, and the build up behind it all makes it all the more satisfying because KFC's new product.
We're talking about edging.
KFC's new product is the Smash Bowl, where they take all the good stuff and throw it together into one bowl. And I know a guy who operates like that. I know a guy whose daily life is all about taking his favorite foods and putting it all into one bowl. I also know a guy who's incredible at eating and swallowing on a podcast without chewing it all, and he's gonna put on a clinic again today. So the fact that KFC finally advertises with us when John Henry Feitelberg has been living the Smash Bowl life for the last it just disappears for the last year. You know, I'm almost happy it took a decade because now it's all the more satisfying, all the sweeter to watch a Smash Bowl. A John Henry Smash Bowl actually is like making us money is incredible.
I just did the Feitelberg with the mashed potatoes. It's amazing.
When you do it, you feel like Superman. You can just swallow this food and it feels amazing.
What is the point of it? I like the easiest road there, and the easiest road is not true, and you just swallow. And it's perfect. This is what I eat every single day. Only it's better.
Mm-hmm. I love it, dude. So the Smash Bowl, mashed potatoes, cheese, bacon, and French fries. Yo, you mix in a KFC biscuit. You get a little. You don't even need to get the chicken, but obviously if you're at KFC, you got to get some chicken. You mix that in there, like all of your sides. Prior to the Smash Bowl, I would always be like, am I really going to order every single side? Like, I'm going to order like a 2-piece, but do I have to be like, I want the mashed potatoes, and I want this, and I want this, and I want that, and then they end up giving you 1,000 forks, and it's like, no, sir, this is only for 2 people. So it's all the good KFC sides into one. I would make the argument that KFC, out of all fast food chains, has the best sides.
I think that's strong.
It's unstoppable. The chicken is obviously their hallmark, but when you go there, deciding between all the sides is absolutely impossible, and that's where the Smash Bowl comes into play. You don't need to decide.
Here's all of them.
So for the next month, we will be presented by KFC Radio. All through the Super Bowl, all through the month of March. The Great White Buffalo has finally been hunted down, and we're in bed with Kentucky Fried Chicken. To all, I want to thank all the chicken heads. I want to thank all the listeners. I want to thank my parents. I want to thank you guys for making this happen. It's a lifelong dream of mine to be sponsored by my namesake. There was a time where I thought maybe I was going to get a cease and desist. I didn't know how that was going to work. It was like maybe they own the letters. I don't know. But not only is there no cease and desist, we're in bed together, baby.
A partnership.
So cheers to KFC. Here's to the Smash Bowl. I want to see everybody eating Smash Bowls because there's no excuse not to. I want pictures. I want videos. I want you at the drive-thru. I want you at the restaurant. I want you at taking it home. I want you bringing it to your fancy soirees. Pabs told me down on TikTok there's a trend. You bring KFC potatoes to like your fancy dinner parties, and people can't even tell it's so delicious. I want Smash Bowls. Oh my gosh.
Smash Bowls.
Super Bowl party makes it.
This casserole I made, or whatever the hell you call it.
You know what you do? Here's what you do. Everybody's going to bring their buffalo chicken dip, right? You bring a Smash Bowl, and you call it the blah, blah, blah special, or Delight. You put your name in. So you go and you be like, this is called the Feitelberg Delight. It's a family recipe of ours we've been doing for years, or the Feitelberg special. And you tell people it's a family tradition. And you serve it in a different bowl so it doesn't look like it's from KFC, and people will not even know. They'll think your grandma invented it.
That's like when I studied abroad in Spain, and the house mom I lived with tried to convince me. Not tried to convince. She didn't try to convince me. She just told me that she invented a dish that was it was just sausage and potatoes. And
I like the effort, though.
And I was like, "No, you didn't." I think this was the Germans, and she hit me.
Well,
she was like, "No,
you deserved it."
And I was like,
"Who were you?"
I just got abused by a Spanish woman. I think I have to tell my mom about this. I'm 17 years old.
Real mom.
This is abuse.
So it is Smash Bowl season. Get your Smash Bowls. Send them to us. And for the next month, you probably won't see me eat anything. But Casey, you know what? Throw me those slides.
Yeah.
Toss me those slides. I'm gonna get decked out in the slides. We'll get the koozies going. Oh hell yeah! Oh wow, these are like real. These are like real slides. Oh, these are like real slides.
and I'm just FDR.
Yeah, some people would use this as a beach towel. This is just John's sheets. This is John's bed sheets. He's gonna take this home and sleep on this.
Bro, I got out of bed this morning and I realized, when you're at a really nice restaurant and
I don't know if I can go toes out on the podcast. Can I do that? I'm gonna put my socks back on.
When you're at a really nice restaurant and they come out like between courses and they clear the tablecloth.
Yeah.
They have like little I need one of those for my bed.
Yeah, it needs to be like 4 feet wide.
The crumb collector.
You know what? That's a great thing if you're ever lying to a girl basically, or you're at a party and you're you're stringing somebody along. Tell them that your family invented that. Tell them you have a family fortune from the crumb collector. Be like, yep, my great grandfather invented that thing, and we are wildly wealthy from that.
I know, quote unquote, no. This is a story that was told to me. Whether or not it's true, I don't know. I know one of the great ones of that. I know like one of the families of like the outrageous inventions why they're generationally wealthy.
Which one?
The gas.
Right.
The thing that like hangs.
Which they abolished.
No, it's back.
Yeah,
it's around in Massachusetts now. It was not around Massachusetts the whole time.
I was going to say, I think it's state by state. Like I think, because if you drive like into Connecticut, it's back. You go into New York, it's not. You go to if you go to like a fancy chain, it's not. But if you go to like a hole in the wall place, it is. Yeah. So it's case by case. I don't know. I'm sure somebody like blew up a gas station from it overflowing, but those are necessary. Yeah. I gotta go run in and buy something or do something else, or just sit in the car because I'm cold. Like I don't want to have to sit there and hold the fucking thing.
Yeah.
Give me a break. That's one of the greatest inventions of all time. All right, we gotta dive into Barstool business. How this has come full circle. KFC Radio, when the Dave Portnoy show ended, we decided to take the baton and run with it a little bit and say we will cover Barstool news, drama, inner workings. We'll do a third episode where we'll interview some people. And then as time went on, people liked it. People loved it. People were asking for more of it. Barstool News starts to really happen. We realized it's a good time to relaunch Barstool Radio, which me and John had always kind of, had in the back of our minds as a card we could play. And so we revived Barstool Radio. And within a few months, we come to learn that it is, we've told you this before if you're a KFC Radio listener, but if you're listening from Barstool Radio, we found out that down to the day of starting Barstool Radio, basically, we completely cannibalized this show, and downloads and views were down a untenable amount. There was no way I could be like, well, it's okay, we can still do both. It was like, no. We're going to end up with two bad shows rather than, we're going to have no shows at the end of this. So we had to leave radio, and I wanted to do it rather quickly. I was like, I'm not going to dick around here and do another 3 months of this because I got to get KFC Radio back on track. So that's where we end. And I feel like it's been a little convoluted, and I want to clear it up as far as how the new iteration came to be and then got axed by Dave. But there was a couple, I think Nate and Clemmer said that they were handed the show, and then they were saying they took the show. And I just want to make it clear how that show came to be, because when we ended, it was should the show keep going or not? And I think that if I'm not going to stand in the way of anybody who wants to do it, and I also think that we should at least give some people a shot to carry it on, because I do think Barstool is better when there is Barstool Radio. My initial thought was that Tommy would want to do it. Tommy didn't want to do it. Tommy wants to do more scripted stuff or doesn't want to do a daily show. Whatever his feeling was, I could tell he was not really fully into it, and it's not a show that you can do if you're half in and half out. So Tommy was out. I wanted Roan would have been the obvious choice of one of the talented guys still around in New York. Roan is already, having trouble keeping up with his load as is with Pat Bev and flying around the country. So the idea of doing a 4-day-a-week radio show was pretty much out on him. That leaves the rest of the New York office. With the crew that is left here, there was 3 people that I feel work. And I don't know about their chemistry. I don't know about their ability to host a daily radio show. I don't know about much else other than they are talented, they have made content before, and they are here every day. Because that's a big part of doing it, is that you come every day. And that was Nate, Kelly, and Francis. I called each of them individually and said, we're not doing it, but I think you would be good to be involved in Barstool Radio. That was pretty much where I mostly checked out. I think I called Kelly, Nate. I don't remember if I called Francis or I can't remember how I ended up talking to Francis, if it was before or after. I think I spoke to Kelly, she spoke to Francis, then Francis called me. We all had discussions about who works with who, how they're going to gel. And from the jump, it was never a very good fit. It was Francis was worried. He's my style of comedy is not really very conducive with Kelly, but I think we can work on it and we can make something happen. It's definitely worth giving a shot. Kelly seemed gung-ho about it. She was taking the reins. I told her part of the problem, let me take a step back before I talk about them individually, as a show. The show itself is a difficult show to do because, as we found out, it's good when there's drama, and then you have to figure out a way to fill in all the other times that there's not drama. Mm-hmm. And at least for us, where we already have a show where we shoot the shit and talk about everything, when you go do that on another show, it gets repetitive. We're not as into it. We're bored with it. We're repeating ourselves. So that made it difficult to just cover the topics of the day. And then the other side of it is if you're waiting for drama, because those are the days where there's thousands of concurrent viewers and you get hundreds of thousands of views. When it pops off, great. But It could be a month. It could be 6 months. It could be a day. You don't know. In the very beginning of Barstool Radio, I think for like 4 straight weeks, we had drama every day. We had Mean Girls.
Then the Mean Girls got fired.
Yeah, and then it was downhill. Yeah. We had the Mean Girls, and then me and Kelly were fighting, and then there's the layoffs, and then Dave and Nate, and like there was just something pretty much every week at least. So you're either waiting for drama to happen, or you're stirring up drama. And in order to do that, you got to be a certain type of person that, there probably is enough gossip and stories and rivalries and competition and all that going on within these walls that if you wanted to sit down basically every day and just pick a fight, pick a scab, talk some shit, I heard rumors, what about this person versus this person, you probably could do it. You also then become a colossal asshole who everybody hates. That's why there's really only 3 people that can do it or have to be involved. Like when Dave and me did radio together, I think it was great because there was always drama because me and Dave disagree on everything.
Right.
Naturally. If he says up, I say down. He says, left, I can say right. Like, so there was always fighting, and then people would like take sides. So even when we were talking about current events, there was like tension because it was just like, I think, the Red Sox shouldn't put up the fucking nets over the wall, and he does, and like, so there was always drama, and he can yell, and he's a boss where I can yell back, and we are at each other's throats, and then, we just do it over and over and over again. But if it's not the boss, if it's me or you or literally anybody else, it becomes like, why the fuck are you calling me out? Why the fuck are you calling me lazy? Why are you ratting on me? Why are you snitching? Why are you putting a light on how I didn't come to work today? Why did you tell everybody that I did this or that? When the boss does it, it's like, fuck, the boss caught me.
Right.
When a coworker does it, it's like, you're a fucking asshole.
So I have a question there. Why did we ever do it? If we know there were only 3 people.
Well, I think we learned that. I thought there would be. I planned on taking a little bit more of a Dave role that I thought I was up for and did not was not up for.
That's fair.
And so that was part of it. And I did think in the beginning, I was like, this is what I expected it to be. Like once a week, once every 2 weeks, there was something.
Yeah.
And then in between, it's like, it's not bad. It's fine. All this is funny because in a weird way, like the feedback I was getting was like unbelievable. Like the best feedback I've gotten aside from
I still don't understand because it was never a good show. They were like for like 2 weeks, it was a good show. After that show sucked.
I don't think you realize that like we're good at this.
Yeah, but like we're good at it, and I know when I'm sitting on a couch and going, this is fucking boring. And like a lot of the time, that was a boring show. No one was really talking. No one was into it. People would roll up 5 minutes after the fucking show started.
Well,
it was not a good show.
Yeah, we can say from the very beginning, John and I were very disappointed in Pat and Tom.
But it was like I was disappointed with all 4 of us. Like it wasn't just like it was, all 4 of us did not. It was not a good show.
Yeah, I don't think that's true though. I think there's a lot of people who disagree with that. I mean, I know that the from the fan point of view, if you feel that way, that's fine. But my like experience with it and like my internet, like my version of the internet was all very positive all the time.
I guess they could say like that's kind of one like what we say with commenters, like when they're nice they're wrong, when they're mean they're wrong. Like sitting on that couch, those were not engaging conversations.
Yeah, I mean,
do you think they were? Were you like we are killing it right now?
I mean, no, but
all right. So we both sat there thinking it wasn't very good. So who cares what people thought?
No, I never walked away from it being like that was a bad show. I just like that was a regular podcast.
We like there is sometimes we'll walk out of this room and be like we fucking nailed it. How often do we do that on those couches?
When there was drama,
which is never. Like it was the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, that is the issue, is that you need to talk about the inner workings of Barstool. Again, if we had a show where we didn't repeat ourselves, I think it would be great because we do it good here.
Yeah.
And we would go do it there.
Right.
So you were hearing us do it for like the second time. But it's just KFC Radio in between the drama.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good show because I think this is a good show. And that we were just doing it over there, and we're doing it with a different cast of people. We're doing it with callers. I think people like the callers. I think when the audience is responding positively, I don't know, you're doing something right. If you disagree internally, like that's that's you.
But you agree too. Like you weren't.
I
like,
was not like, this is, my finest work, but I was very encouraged by the feedback all the time. Because I had like friends who like came back to like listen to me again. Like I was like, my life became way more Barstool Radio oriented than anything, because I was getting texts, I was getting calls, like people coming out of the woodwork being like, oh my God, I heard about this, I heard about that. And I remember being like, I've had a podcast all these years, guys, right? And people were like, they liked that it was a more like tangible, real show about real people, real things, not hypothetical situations, not, what would you do in this situation? Like there's a person that we're talking about. So I don't think it's as bad as you thought it was. I think there were definitely times where we were frustrated with it for sure. I remember Tommy loving drama and loving to be on Barstool Radio, and I don't think he enjoyed his experience there. Pat, there were times where, didn't watch Survivor, showed up late. So that iteration of it was not, I don't think we were like clicking or doing a great job, but I think it was a good product. There was new sponsors. Sales was excited about it. Like there were good things about it that I think you're being harsh on.
I mean, I'm being harsh, but we are in
like,
agreement. Like we didn't sit on the couch and think we did good, so it's bad.
I don't think that's true. I think I think you're painting as black and white. I think there's an in between. I think it's like that's not our.
It
best
was
work,
fine.
And I think,
like I don't know. I didn't. But I never. I thought it was bad from. Like I don't like the drama either.
When you have the callers, when you have some running stories, they call in multiple times. Like that sort of stuff is a very different type of radio show, and that grows over time. And I think would have been a fine radio show. I think we could have done that forever. I just don't think it was not worth the loss of this.
Right.
If there was, I would have done that forever if this stayed the same, or even if it was like there's a little bit of a hit, but it's like a whole new audience, a whole new genre, good feedback, sales, all that shit.
Which, to be fair, I think we should have expected too with this. We should have expected it down.
I didn't expect that much.
That was big, but
I was expecting some. I did not think it would be, cut in half. Basically, that's crazy. That's a lot, but it makes sense because it's like you get a lot of airtime with us. It's like
right. Yeah,
people are like, even if you are like a diehard supporter, you're like, oh, I'm supporting John and Kevin. It's like, yes, but no. You know what I mean? Like we need this to be the main thing, because that's also the problem with Barstool Radio is it's not somebody's. It's like it belongs to Barstool.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, unless it like skyrocketed, then I would just stick with that. At the end of the day, we need this to be good because like this is where we get judged by and where we get paid off of and all that. So it was like, if I have to pick between the two, I got to go back to the bread and butter. So,
which I think was a little unfair to Barstool Radio as a whole, how quickly we left.
Yeah, but and I said that I was like, I can't.
I think it was a lot unfair. Like I think those are problems we should have expected and foresaw, and not just change course immediately. I think it was a lot of like, I'm in love, I'm out of love, and see you later.
Yeah, but I don't think we had a choice.
No, but I think there should have been more. I don't know.
I don't think anybody would have sat down and been like, we'll lose half our listenership because of this.
No, but I think we brought it back too quickly without a plan. I think we left too quickly without a plan, and I think it was. I do not think we handled the last 6 months very well. However long it's been.
I don't think there was another way to handle it. What would you have done differently? Like, how would you have done Barstool Radio differently?
I wouldn't have done Barstool Radio. I think we shouldn't have brought it back. If we could go back.
You were like,
I was what?
We had conversations where you were like, let's do it.
When you called me and you're like, what about Tommy? I was like, that's good because we don't need a second show of us. Yeah. So, yeah. But
in those conversations, you were like, oh, that's good. Like,
with Tommy, yeah. No, for sure. 100%. Yeah. But I would get him saying, how did we do it again? We shouldn't have done it.
Oh, well, looking back on how it happened. Yes. But like in the moment, I don't think I forced you to do anything.
No.
Okay.
But we shouldn't have done it.
Yeah. No, I mean, knowing that, yes, of course, knowing that we lost half our listenership and the people we asked to be on it, like, seemingly don't really want to be on it.
Yeah.
I wish they said no up front. I wish, there's a million things I wish went differently. But once I knew that I was like, I don't care about any of this anymore. I have to protect what we've done. So I don't care. You can let it die. You can pick it up. But I I'm washing my hands of it because it's not my concern right now. Like I have to worry about this because what I've been building for the last 10 years, it just got fucking whacked in half. So you can do it, but I'm not, I told him, I was like, I want to do this now. Like I can't give you like a month. I can't just let KFC Radio dwindle to like slowly integrate you.
All right.
So that's where I kind of was like, you guys, you are the three that I think are capable of it. It sounded like they did not want to work with Nate.
That was a mistake the entire time. I didn't have many conversations with anybody. I had a few text exchanges with Kelly, a few texts with you. Nate should have been involved the entire time.
Yes. And I said to Nate,
and if they didn't want to work with him, then I think it should have been Nate's show. But like,
I agree. So I called Nate. I probably should have like talked all three of them, but it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know. I didn't want to put people in a weird spot where if they didn't want to work with Nate, and they said that to me privately, but if I was gonna put them all on the spot together, it's like, I mean, that's probably should have been an episode of Barstool Radio.
Yeah.
But Nate is good at the drama, and he's feisty.
He's good at radio too.
Yeah.
Like his radio show, without the drama and all that stuff, his Friday show, there was one lull in the full hour.
Yeah.
And that was when they did like G is the dozen thing. Aside from that, like, it was a good radio
the
show.
problem with Nate is I think he has a reputation of not being good on camera.
Yeah.
And I don't think...
Which radio isn't really. It's become on camera.
Yeah.
But like radio
you're talking.
Traditionally is not an on-camera show.
Now, we've had Nate on before. Is Nate here?
I think so. I would guess he doesn't want to come on, but give it a try.
Ask him if he wants to come on. Okay. I think he does have a tendency, as Dave says, to do it and love it, and then when the heat is on, he does not like that.
Yeah.
I think he's grown past that.
I agree.
But Dave,
to an extent. I agree to an extent.
Like, he's better at it. He's gotten better. But he does have a tendency to, or either like he can't stand the heat, or like we always say, he's killing it. He's like super high, and then he does something, and he torpedoes himself.
He's very volatile.
Yes. But he's interesting because of all that. He's an interesting part of Barstool Radio, of Barstool. There's a reason why he's part of Survivor. There's a reason why he is in all these things, as he listed. He's like the award show and this rundown and this radio. Like, he is always in the mix, and you do need that. We were just discussing how there was the three people who could do it, or more so that you should have been involved from the jump, and how I called the three of you basically separately, being like, I think the three of you are the people who work every day and can or should be involved. What happened with you and them? Did they say
Who's
like
them? Wait, who's
Kelly
them?
and Francis?
Okay,
They were just like, we don't want to do it with you, or
that's what I understand.
but that's what I mean. Like they said that to you, or you
no,
felt
zero communication.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's what. So, are you taking any blame yet? Have you taken any blame?
I'm explaining how I basically was like, I can't worry about transitioning this anymore. Like I'm out. I'm washing my hands of it. You three are the people I think could do this, and then that was it.
There's a lot of blame to pass. Like, we're doing a blame pie.
No, I'm not doing a blame pie. I'm just
Okay, because like I would say you're like 12% to blame here.
for what? Because why?
Because just ending the show so abruptly and calling 10 of us all on the same day and being like, you have the show, you have the show, you have the show, you have the show, you have the show,
Bro,
you have the show.
I went down the line of people who I thought could do it.
There should have been,
and there's also that's part of the bigger problem here is that nobody
takes
initiative.
better, and there's a lot of like hindsight's 2020 here. There should have been a better, what's it called, like when the president hands it to the new president, that process, transition process. There should have been a better one of those.
Sure.
I when you talked to me and then I talked to Keegs, I was like, I don't want to host the show. I want to be the third or fourth mic.
Right.
But I want to be on every day, because in the history of successful talk radio shows, there has never been a rotating cast.
Right.
In just the world history, there's never been one time where it's like so-and-so's on Monday and so-and-so's on Tuesday. It just doesn't work. You need, just repetition and you need it. So, no, there was no communication with me. That's when Keegs said like that I wouldn't stop hitting her up and blowing her up.
Right.
That was before the show even started. I was like, I want to be on every day, and you're not telling me anything. And then she's like, no, we included you in everything besides every meeting. I was like, okay, well, and then they said on the show that they just didn't want me on. So yeah, that's as far as the communication goes with me and them.
So, and that's my fault.
Nothing's 100% anybody's fault. There was just like bad communication across the board. I do think, I don't know the exact days. I think you probably should have given a better like transition period, not like you're starting tomorrow type of thing.
I know, but I said to everybody, my show just got whacked in half.
Yeah. No,
I told everybody from the jump.
The reason I don't
I'm doing
blame
this
you
like this week
is I was
so
more.
if you guys didn't want to do it,
no,
you should have been like, that's too soon, and we need to take a break or something. But I told everybody up front, I'm not doing like a month of transition.
Yeah,
I'm doing
and
it, like,
I
tomorrow.
didn't care because I was more privy to that information. I don't know if they just didn't believe you.
I told
or
everybody
what.
flat out. So.
Yeah, but I understand. Like, I understand why you did what you did. You're like, I have to make my money at the thing that makes money, not the silly,
1000%.
not the silly little Rumble show, YouTube
Right.
show.
Right.
So no, it's nothing's like that serious. You know, like I don't think anybody's angry. I'm not angry, but it's like nothing's that serious. But if we're like passing out blame, you're 12%. I'm like 2%. And then
I think you're higher than 2, but in a good way.
when it
Like I think you were
You wanted to be.
the blame is a good, like I think you made a good show, and I think that created tension that
Well,
wasn't
yeah.
addressed.
If there was no
And
Nate Fridays, they just probably continue on, and But you,
I'd like to take some of the blame just because I think a great show came out of it. So therefore, if you're getting blame, you're getting credit.
yeah, like I felt like
honestly, the only thing that would get Minahan, Whitney, and Dave to do a daily show would be.
I don't know that it's daily.
it's once a week.
Oh,
Once a week.
Daily? Are you insane?
Well, that's why I was like, I couldn't believe when he was telling me that it's back. I was like,
No,
no way that lasts. Once a week makes sense.
I wasn't sure if it was once a week. I knew it wasn't daily. I just saw Dave tweet like radio/DP.
I saved the company, and also Rico is on suicide watch. So, I mean, it's gonna because they only all three of them know one person, two people, Jeff DeLoe and Rico Bosco. And it's the only people like that they know. And so, and Dave and the Rico, they're like a fight forever type of thing. It's like, yeah, he's in hell right now.
Are you going to continue your show?
That's also
Because there's also Barstool Radio. Like I don't think that Dave, whatever Dave does is basically Barstool. So with him it's semantics. But I think that like the Dave Minahan Whitney once a week thing should almost be its own thing. And if there's a Nate Dogg Friday, it could be a Nate at Night or whatever. It's just about assigning a name to it, basically.
Yeah, we're brainstorming.
But if you're not going to do what?
I'm brainstorming.
Yeah,
I think there's definitely space for me to do something. I felt good about the Friday show. It did, triple the viewers of the Monday through Thursday show.
Oh, you checked that.
And
You knew that. You knew that. No.
Someone-
Now that
I'll be honest. I did. No. This is not bullshit. I never, because I don't want to look at like YouTube chat and go down that rabbit hole. Someone tweeted me that, and I just ran with it. I really have I have no idea if it's true.
I will say this though: you can fall into as we did when Barstool Radio is rocking. The numbers are huge. Yeah. So you had a very
what sucks is I gave them such a blueprint to work with, and like me and Ohio Tate, who I'm not on his side. But
that guy does suck.
That was a bullshit thing because I don't think anyone's ever questioned Kelly's work ethic.
Yeah,
that was
a weird.
And it's
like,
also
she's one of the reasons there's very few people here who like come to work every day and say yes when you say do you want to do something. So when you look around and it's like these are the only people who do work and Kelly's one of them. So
when it comes down to
now,
it, though,
I will say, being like I can't come to work on Fridays.
Whatever.
Makeup,
That's a whole nother.
And then kind of getting caught in a lie that saying that you blog on Fridays is tough, but. That should have never happened. Because
Kelly was never atop a list of I'm not
never.
Doing
when it boils down to
contract. She's tried everything. She's been on everything. She says yes to everything. There's a reason why she's even in this conversation. So
when they didn't talk about it on Monday, even if me or Pat or Tommy who was in there said something, it would have just been the next thing. It was never gonna work because they weren't willing. You want to be in the fight and in the mud and do Barstool Radio until one episode of Nate on Friday, and then you're like, "Ooh, maybe this isn't for me."
Well, listen,
And
there's a difference between being in the mud and going up against the dog.
Yeah. And I mean, Francis is obviously smart enough, good enough, talented enough to like dismember me limb by limb, but he's open about this. I'm not like putting words in his mouth or saying anything he hasn't said publicly. Like he hates it. Like he doesn't sleep. He doesn't sleep at night. Yeah, like and what I did on Friday was, what Dave pays me to do, and but at the same time, the whole time I'm like, this is so good for them because now people have to tune in on Monday to hear their response. This is exactly what this should be.
Right.
It works perfectly. They can spend the first 15 minutes.
I think it's hard to do a week
They had to.
you waiting till Friday to say things.
But no, it was even better because like they have all the leverage. They have all the leverage. They have
the tension. The build up was. I mean, when I was here Friday and I walked by I just like kind of like walked in, head in my phone, kind of like walked by the gambling cave and like didn't register right away. I got a few steps past it and I was like, is there like a soccer game today I didn't know about? and I looked back and it was just everyone in there getting ready for
Nate Dogg Friday.
Friday.
Yeah. So
there is something there, bro. I really and
always
I
has
wanna
been,
say
brother.
I want to say this, like there should not be any anything. There should not be any vibe of like let's not do at this office. We should be doing. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Like if there and listen, maybe it was because of the drama and it was a perfect storm and Nate Dogg Fridays doesn't work, but like you should try it. Don't let it die.
What? Speaking of
Or it doesn't. Or do something.
whatever.
Nate-
Yeah.
The blame pie. Where's Dante on there? So how much is Dante's slice of blame pie?
Dude, he's my favorite person in the entire universe. He's so funny.
Did you see that tweet?
No. What did he say?
Dante texted Nate, "What the fuck? Radio got canceled because of us?"
Yeah. He probably was. He thought he said. I mean, he did say he wants to behead the mayor of Chicago.
I mean, when did you say he's the number one unhinged?
I didn't say
'cause
it.
I think he might-
John Ridge said it. I agree. I've probably said it before.
You've said it before.
In that
say
moment, that was John Ridge. But I completely agree.
In the roster, we put like the Minahans at the top and Rico's and stuff, but
It's the Don.
or at least most delusional.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if he's.
I mean, dude, I texted this to Nate last night. Last night, Dante, this might be his most delusional thing. Dante retweeted a quote from the Daily Stoic. Dante, I have the screenshot. It says Dante reposted. The quote is, "It's possible," Marcus Aurelius said, "to not have an opinion. You don't have to turn this into something."
Oh my God!
He reminds himself, "You don't have this to let this upset you. You don't have to think something about everything." Retweeted by Dante the Don.
Yeah, no, he's the best.
Dude, yeah, he always used to tweet the secret.
The secret. That's
yeah.
why it's in the graph.
So that's what I was saying. I was like, real Dante heads know that he retweets the Daily Stoic every
Well,
day.
I knew we retweeted the secret because that's why I added that. That was my
So secret being the book that's like the 5 keys to life. or
What he
whatever.
usually does is after he retweets it, he then screenshots it and puts it on his Instagram story.
Yeah,
So
I've
I
seen
see it
that.
in both places. I love Dante.
I was gonna say you guys have a Dante fetish.
I'm like an AWL of Dante content. Like I love everything he does.
Wait, why and he thought it was him?
Yeah. Well, he works weird hours, so he
Dude,
was
so many people, by the way, thought like who don't keep up with all the inner workings. Just hearing that Barstool Radio got canceled, I got text last night. What'd you do? Like, why is Dave mad at you? I was like, not me, bro, not me.
It's good that they're doing this show, Whitney, Kirk, and Dave. It's bad for Smitty. It's bad for me. It's bad for Rico.
I don't think it's bad for you.
It is.
No, well, I mean, it might. Maybe I'm saying professionally, it's not bad for you. Personally, if it stresses you out, that's fine.
One idea I have is I might just fact check it after every episode.
Yes, this is what I mean.
Like,
do Nate Dogg Fridays that you were gonna do for Kelly and Francis with those three.
Look.
You know how funny it would be you fucking like doing the same shtick but with them.
This just stays in this room, okay?
Yeah, nobody's listening.
Let's pre-record on Thursdays and play it on Fridays. Working Fridays is off.
May have to put it in his earrings in the morning.
Have you ever slept?
Yo, when
with
Nate gets not one but two earrings going, you know he's in his bag. As
this
the
is what
kids say.
happened. Is Pat, the gay one, he said that he would come to the bar if I wore my earrings.
This is a weird. This is a weird.
And I was like, no, I was like, all right, that's a good plan. And then he didn't come to the bar, but then I was like feeling myself in the earrings. I like the way they look.
Nice.
Bro,
And then-
it's so you. It's so you.
Yeah.
You know what I really think? I really think there was a time where you were bad on like podcast or video.
Okay.
But that was like 12 years ago.
Can I tell a story about that?
Yeah.
You remember a lot. You might remember. It was probably like my 3rd month at Barstool. It couldn't have been more than a year. And you were doing some show. I don't know, like a baseball show. And you had me on, and you pretended your internet didn't work because I was so bad on it. You're like, yeah, the internet just shit out.
I've done that to people before, but I don't know if I did to you.
It was so early. It was 2016 or something, 2014. It was so early.
And we didn't record it, or I said it. We didn't even do it.
No, like you stopped it like 6 minutes in. You're like, yeah, my internet doesn't work.
Could be possible, but I know I can tell you the people I've done that to, and I don't remember.
One is
it being
sitting on
you.
this couch.
I don't know if that was you. I don't know. Like,
Well,
there is a possibility.
Your internet
but-
never got fixed, and we never re-recorded it. So.
but I think when Dave, you know, it's tough with Dave because whatever you were in 2010 is what you are to this day.
Oh, yeah.
So like you can't change his opinion on that.
Oh,
And-
never. He still does the same laundry list of things that he's been saying for 8 years.
He is right about that. You go in guns blazing, and then you're like, oh fuck, when shit gets crazy. You still do that to an extent.
Not the
nearly
way
as bad.
he says it. Not
Well, but because he's talking about when you would do it like 10 years ago. And I
yeah.
don't think you do it.
He's
like
talking
10
about one specific episode when I was like hella major depressed, and I was like, I need to take a step back, or I'm gonna like
Right.
KMS. But that was literally
Hella
8,
major.
9, 10 years ago. It's the earrings,
I
it's
was
the
gonna
skater
say,
shoes.
yeah, man,
it's
it's it.
everything.
Like I said,
it's the
it
shitty
is bad.
tattoos. I'm really like, I've really come into like who I've
Into
always
yourself,
wanted to be.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, though. You've rounded into the final form of the dog.
Yeah, and you're not completely wrong. Like, even after Friday, like I knew Friday went well, and like it was everything it was supposed to be.
Good show, by the way.
But then like that decompression period when you're like, oh my god, now I have to deal with all the aftermath. That's what sucks.
But like that's the job. Like
Yeah,
you have
no.
to do it the next
And then,
day,
you know
and the
what I
next
did?
day, and the next
It
day,
was
and the
most-
next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the
the
next
most
day.
adult thing I ever did, because I was sitting there reading all my mentions, getting really sad. I was like, I just don't have to check my mentions, and I didn't check them until Monday, and it was the best thing I ever did.
I don't think people get that. That like it's
Amazing, right?
It's like
John's
when my
been saying
dad
it for-
fucking discovered water last year.
Yeah.
You guys drinking water? It's good for you. Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, it's like yeah.
That's why
You're like a guy who like
I'm the
just,
meme.
like,
I'm the meme of the guy on the bike who sticks the stick into the wheel, and then he's like, "How did that happen?"
well, you're like your last buddy to get a job where he's like, dude, waking up in the morning sucks.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it fucking does, dude. But we've
been doing it forever. Yeah. That's the other problem with Barstool Radio is like even when the good times of numbers are awful, like life-wise, like those episodes where the viewers are loving it, you're tense on the couch, you're nervous, you're fighting, you have to defend yourself,
And that's why I get why Francis doesn't like it and doesn't want to do it. But
but then like. Yes, it's like I that was
because you
so
don't want to
crazy.
say
You
no.
can't say no.
You don't want to say no to an opportunity.
Well, so that
Because then if
Yes.
Dave hears you said no.
No. I made that very clear. I feel like I don't think Dave. I told everybody that in my conversation with Dave that I was having about my contract, he does not care about Barstool Radio. Did not care about like the New York office. He was just like, you got to do what you got to do. So I said to them like, at least I hope. Maybe you know I don't know if I ever like explicitly was like, you do not like Dave will not care. But I made it more of a thing of like, I think you should try to do this.
Yeah.
And then they were like talking about changing the name and changing the time, and I did say to them, if it's new people and a new name, it's a new show. So I think you should probably just leave some of it alone.
it probably.
But
should
then
have had
that's
a
where
new
I was
name.
like, but I'm not gonna I'm not gonna tell people what to do, how to do it. I was like, that's where I'm out on
That's
that.
another one of those hindsight things. It probably should have had a new name just so they weren't so
No, but it can't-
cornered.
that-
But
No, Barstool Radio has
if
to-
if there was going to be
Why?
a name,
Wait. Why?
because then it should just be a different show. It should be called like the
It
Kelly
should have been a
Francis
different.
show.
Yes, it should have been.
Well, but
I don't
then we're
think-
not. Then it's like then go plan that on your own terms and don't take it over in a day like we just talked about. Like
if you're going to change the name, then don't do the show.
Right.
And because I don't think anyone's like Kelly and Francis need a show.
right.
So why would you create
now
a show?
now we can open a whole nother conversation. Is they thought that they like we can get into that too, like the way how condescending they were towards me and how they thought they were like this beacon of radio talent.
Are they
and
here? I don't want
all
to.
that.
Yeah, I know. I don't wanna talk about
them.
Yeah, no, but that's why I didn't say until just now. But they thought that this show was going to be a smashing success, and then when it wasn't, that's when it all started like deteriorating.
Yeah, I think that it actually ends up the misgivings I had about that show were Kelly and Francis being too. They're characters or partly, everyone's kind of characters partly true or wholly true. Characters that they've worked on building, which is elite, higher class, little high and mighty people. And I think that was a concern of mine when I was like, I don't know. It seems like a duo that like it seems like that could get that way, and it got that way pretty quickly. And it's kind of funny that it did end up getting canceled while they talked about art museums.
Kevin, so yesterday we're all sitting around like my desk and like everybody's like very calm and just like talking through it. And Francis just he's so funny. He has his legs like kicked up on his desk and he's not doing a bit. He's just reading a fine wine magazine, just flipping through the pages. And it's
they've been successful creating those personas.
Things,
It's
yes.
like it's the auras they want and they've earned and they're good at. I think the two of them together on a daily radio show, I didn't think was. I didn't think they'd want to do what radio is.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone was like.
And I still
need
feel
that show.
They could have done 10 to 15 minutes about Friday's thing and then gone on to fine art and Taylor and all that stuff.
They could have done 1 minute, bro. They just you could have said Ohio Tate is a nobody, and I will not give him a second of my airways. I would not agree with that angle, but like you did that at least. That you could say that's what I do.
Pat said it best is even if you don't want to talk about it, you just have to know the people watching and listening want to hear you talk about it. And you just have to give them what they want because
that's also a producer thing. At Barstool, we have producers are very like technical. It's like they record and edit and post and shit. And in like the rest of the world, producers are like the ones who call the shots content-wise.
Yeah.
They're like, here's, the rundown of what we're talking about. And then there's like a fight with the talent. Of
I don't
what
want to
they do,
blame
don't
the
do.
producer though, because that's just not how it works here.
It's different here, but
yeah, I'm not. I put very, very, very
Blame Todd.
little, almost zero,
Give me almost 0.5%.
1%. Like such a zero. Yeah,
But they're the ones coming from the old, new, whatever Barstool Radio, where it's like
I blame me for not
I guess all you can do is give the people the sheet.
going in.
Was it on the sheets?
Like we were all sitting there. Like, should we go in there? Should we go in there? Should we go in there? Pat was like, "I'm on tomorrow. I'll bring it up tomorrow."
Yeah,
like
that was weird.
how did no? I thought that was fair. He's like,
well, but just do it now. Like,
well, that's the thing. It's like let them do their show, and then tomorrow will be fireworks when Pat's on it. I thought that was fair.
the Barstool Radio is, I don't think
A lot of people fucked up.
We were describing it as like it's not one person's thing. It's like nobody has ownership over the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just there to be.
But that's also like kind of an idea.
Yeah.
Like I know when Kelly and
course,
Francis
the hosts
got control, I was like, that's good because what I always wanted when we were doing Barstool Radio was people to come in and just talk. And as soon as it was their show, I did not feel welcome.
Right.
Not nothing to do with them.
Right.
That was not their. That's just like how
What it
how
should
the
be.
show
It's
works.
also
is
a
like
respect
that will
thing.
go in
Like
and-
it's a respect thing. It's their show.
Yeah,
Like
right.
and-
I didn't
and
want to interrupt their show. I was like,
she
I'm not
had
gonna-
that clip when she was like, "I'm not gonna beg you to come in." I was like, "You usually invite people onto your show."
And
Like,
I'd heard that criticism when I was on Barstool Radio, and I was like, "What are you talking? I've said it a million times. Just come on the show.
people just don't do it.
And then
Yeah.
when the shoe was on the other foot, I couldn't do it. I
what you
was like, I
almost
feel like I'm
need-
correct breaking in.
You almost need like a host you need like a moderator, and that's the only constant. And then they call in people. You know what I mean? Because that way there's no like. I did feel like I'm not gonna. I didn't want to go in there and be like, "What the fuck are you guys doing? Not talking about this?" Because it's like oh, I just passed it to you, and then I'm going to go in there and fucking rail on it.
Yeah.
But that's what it should be. That show should be, you're talking about what's going on at Barstool. You're being honest about it. You talk about it in the open. You throw punches, and then you move on. It's just that you can't move on. Dave can move on. Minahan can move on. People here can't move on because we're all friends or enemies or coworkers or whatever.
John also said it best. If that's not the show they wanted to do, it's fine. Like, then that's not the show for them.
They should have said, yeah.
And I think we've said it. Like, if it wasn't yesterday, let's say I did run in there, or Pat ran in there, whatever. Yelling would have happened, blah, 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 blah. It just would have been the next thing. You know, like if they just if their hearts weren't in where Dave
that show wasn't gonna
wanted it to be.
The show wasn't gonna
so it's almost
Which is exactly what happened to us.
It's just like
we didn't want to do a show that was
you guys got very
drama-filled.
unlucky. It was during like a quiet Barstool drama period for like nothing happened.
We came in so hot and then
Yeah.
it went dry.
Like Mean Girls and then nothing.
That's the problem with the show is it could be a month, it could be 6 months. I will say when more shit happens here, there's more drama.
There's
not a lot going on
also
here.
like Dave did, I don't even know the word, chastise, like not yell at them, but like reprimand a little. Like you guys have to be more prepared.
Yeah, that honestly, I told John that when he was like when I was on yesterday, you guys were bad. I was like, this is over.
Yeah,
But it's like that sort of,
and that's why I thought they would
that
see
sort of decree about your show. It's a wrap.
I've been listening to talk radio my whole life. Like like growing up, loved talk radio. Like loved it, everything about it. Listened to it night and day. To fill an hour, it's not like rocket science. It's like topic, your opinion on topic, calls on topic, next topic.
Mm-hmm.
You can fill an hour very, very easily doing that. Story from the weekend. Have you ever had a story like that? Calls about that story, next topic. Very easy.
Recurring calls eventually. You have running themes, all that shit.
That group was not funny enough, talented enough, good enough at radio yet. Not saying they couldn't be yet to do what, the Yak does or whatever and fill an hour plus just shooting the shit. They didn't have that quality. And it's hard. There's a reason Howard Stern is Howard Stern and everybody else is everybody else.
It, man. It's like it
but
seems like
you know
it's very
what?
easy
I can name 2 people who have built an empire doing their universe drama, Stern and Dave. And to say I don't want to do that when Dave's telling you to do that, goodbye. Like,
well,
it's just
you say that you do that because Dave. Does Dave tell you like? I mean, yeah, I guess
Dave doesn't tell anybody anything.
Well, but he has said like, "I want you to be the Spider Monkey." He has said that.
Of course, he said that all the time.
But does he do that like privately, like in like contract
Oh God, no.
So that's just. Like, I mean, because when you say that, I was always like, does he actually tell him to do it, or you're just you're saying I understand what Dave wants from me, Dave tells me to do
If you watch my character arc, whatever you want to call it, I have picked my Spider Monkey spots like pretty well.
Right.
Yeah, like I know Dave wants it all the time. I think that's kind of silly.
Yeah,
like
it's got to have some weight to it, some gravitas.
But when it's the mask, it's your ass. Like, and I'm way. I mean, obviously, I'm way better now at everything than I was when I started. Like mentally, like playing into the role, whatever you want to call it. And now it's like way more fun, and I can handle it way better now.
Right.
Also,
but could you?
Well, that's the thing. Yes. So I wouldn't. So Kevin, I wouldn't have done Friday if I wasn't ready for Francis to come back at me 10 times harder, because I know he can, and he just didn't. And that's when I was like, that's when we all.
I feel like Francis is making a choice to like not really.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have done Friday if I wasn't mentally ready for him to like rip me limb by limb.
So
also you pussies getting mad at me that I didn't go hard enough at you at the 20th anniversary party. All I do.
No, that's him. I was.
Oh, okay. You went out of this.
I was like,
I'm writing a whole section for you, boy.
there was enough, references and allusions and pictures and old videos of my shit that.
That was ridiculous.
I do not need that. He wanted it harder. I was grateful. I think I said thank you.
I'll check the tape on that. But yeah. If we do it again, I have a couple written already. Just saying.
So.
What's that?
I said good.
Okay.
Where?
It's all fun.
So where does Nick go from here? What's the move?
Wherever the tides take me, brother. It's you can't plan.
I mean, we got a Friday coming. We got a Friday in 3 days. What are we?
Yeah, the plan was to respond to what they did Monday through Thursday. You know, maybe like a monologue, mask on, whatever. And then we were going to do Gentleman's Friday with Large. I'm disappointed that we're not drinking on Friday now.
Well, you could do it.
Yeah, no, I have to see if like what's possible, blah 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 blah. Because I don't think it'll be on like the main Barstool channel. I don't know. I have to talk to Dave.
Even that. So what?
No, we might like
Make a new
pre-record.
channel.
I'm saying, yeah,
Make a new,
yeah.
Like you have to do shit here.
Yeah,
right. Like
we're in the lab.
yeah,
We're in the
I
lab.
think that if that's the other thing too. If a lot of
Why does this guy push me to work Friday so hard? Like,
it doesn't have to be Friday, bro. It doesn't have to be Friday. Pick a different day.
No, I know.
Pick work on Monday through Thursday. I'm not working Friday for a reason too. I think I'm in a different spot than some of these people who are not working on Fridays. But you can do whatever the fuck you want. Just do something.
no, I agree. I'm not disagreeing with you.
If there was,
Did they
more-
reply, by the way, about coming in here?
What? No, they didn't respond.
That's fine. I think that's expected.
If there was more shit going on too, I think there would be more Barstool things to talk about. Like if you're stirring up some drama that's like, I heard that Nate fucking hates Francis, whatever. That's shit where people are like, hey man, fuck you. Like, you're making my life harder. This sucks, right? When it's like, we were doing a video together and you cheated in the game or you fucked me in the game and you're fighting over that shit, it's like there's drama and tension and it's entertaining, but it's not like you're talking about my personal life, you're talking about my work ethic, you're calling me out to the boss.
But okay,
We're not,
just to make it
we're
clear,
not doing that shit.
This all is because they would not stop talking about me. It was all.
I'm not even talking about you guys anymore.
Okay.
I'm just saying in general. Like, even like today, we're gonna do this draft, and I could like nobody cares, nobody wants to do it. I almost want to call the whole thing off because I'm just like, I'm done. I've done this. I've done my job here. We've been doing this forever. If anything, I think people should look at me as like, I'm not that talented, I'm not that likable, and somehow I've made fucking a lot of money and had a long career doing this. So maybe listen to me or come to me or let's do something together. And nobody does anything and nobody fucking cares. And I'm like dragging it out of them.
Who's annoying you the most?
It's not even.
Ooh, name names.
No.
Oh,
I'll
go get the mask. Do you want the mask? Well, what if we just did that? We
it's
brought
just
the
like
mask
when
in, and you have like immunity when you wear the mask.
It's a great idea. That would be great if the office agreed, like those talking sticks.
Yeah.
Except it's the Nate Dogg mask. You can say whatever you want when you got the mask on. You need like Festivus.
You want me to go get it for you? I want to hear names. I want to hear who you're
It's not worth it. It's like I don't care. Don't do work. I don't care. Like I did care. I wanted to try. It's clearly going to be impossible or very, very unlikely that it works. So
That's always
whatever, man.
kind of been an issue, right?
I think it's hard. I think it's hard when there's no boss and there's no rules, but there's no motivation.
Yeah, that's like when you asked if Dave's ever like told me to like. Dave doesn't tell anybody anything.
It either comes down to you work for two reasons, pretty much in any job, I would imagine. Your boss tells you to, and you're afraid to get fired, or you want it and you go do it.
Yeah.
And I think people like us, we wanted it. Dave never told us to do anything. We did it. We like it. To an extent, it becomes work, but you like it still, or you find something new that you like, you know?
Yeah.
But if you come here just being like, I'm only going to do whatever I have to do to get a paycheck, and then like the guy who's really writing the paychecks is fucking chilling in Miami, it's like, I don't know, I'm going to come and go as I please or do whatever. And I'm trying new things or at least encouraging things.
I do think a lot of the people here work. I think most of the people here who come to the office, people I see every day, I think work.
Yeah.
There aren't like community things, but everyone out there, right? Like I'm like
That's why I wanted him to name names.
that. Like, it's not that they don't work. It's like, what is the definition of work? Like, you write a couple blogs. Like, I mean, I don't know. It was a long time of like writing blogs, doing multiple podcasts, doing rundowns for me. Like we did a lot. When
Hosting
things were really
Survivor after shows. That's a big one.
all of these things. Like there was a lot of.
That tickle you, John?
that's pretty funny. Yeah.
He is good at it. He's a dog for a reason.
When I see a fucking slow pitch softball, I have to hit it. It's not personal. It's just funny. And that is the combo me and Francis had. Oh, he tried to Jedi mind trick me so hard with his like Harvard intellect, like trying to get, because he knew the wrath was coming. And I was like, yeah.
This is pre
Friday. I was like, yeah, the wrath is coming. Like, this is what we're paid to do. And he was like, well, just don't like bring up this. Or I was like, dude, like, I'm not going to like do any of that. Like, like super personal. I was like, of course not, dude.
I think if people like understood that, it would go better.
But here's the thing. We agreed that anything that happens in those glass walls of radio is fair game, entertainment. And then I did mine. And
I think people can say that. And then people can't.
But
do it,
I guess that's like the broader scope of this whole conversation we're having is like we've always been this gray area of like we're half wrestling, half real life, but we're wrestling until I'm not. Yeah, and we've been having this exact back and forth forever, and we'll continue to have it forever.
But that's why. So there's the three people.
I love the gray area though.
There's Dave, who's the boss. So people, you're not friends with the boss. The boss is the boss, and everybody loves Dave because he gave the opportunity and the money and all that shit. And then if it comes with like he chews you out on radio. That's just how it happens. Kirk, who's a certified crazy person and also being removed, he like doesn't give a fuck. Older and removed, he doesn't give a fuck about any of this shit. And then the dog, who you don't really hold back either, but you kind of do. But, but you go further than the average
I live in the most gray area ever, where I often don't know.
But your gray is just a little bit darker.
Yeah,
you go towards the black side. You start to get dark in
there, but yeah, no, for sure.
Because you'll be like, yo, you fucking suck, or you're fucking lazy. Like, you called out a lot of people that most people won't. And that's why you should have been involved from the jump.
Agreed. And they thought that I was beneath them and not talented, and I had not earned the right to talk into a microphone.
Right. And that
is their words, not mine.
Right. And that's crazy because, if anything, it's not like any of the people were like, I've done this before, or like, I've earned it over you. It was all just like somebody try to run with it.
Yeah, I don't know. Now we're
so
here. Guess what? It all makes for great convo, great content, great bowls from KFC.
Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, the prep work, and the cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including options like keto, calorie smart, vegan and veggie, and more. They've got chicken, the Baja chicken. Oh my God. They have like 3 or 4 variations of salmon that's delicious. They've got Angus beef. They got steaks with potatoes. Somehow you can microwave chicken, fish, and steak, and it comes out perfectly cooked. 55 weekly add-ons to go along with those main dishes that are full of a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to help kickstart your resolutions. Forget about frantic lunch preps. Forget about rushed dinners. Forget about, I'll just eat when I get home and you don't eat till 12 hours later. Factor's 2-minute meals are your secret weapon in the new year. So fuel up fast with restaurant quality meals, all delivered right to your door. They offer loads of snack options as well, like breakfast, smoothies, juice, and snacks, and more to keep you going no matter what the schedule. It's head into the new year with flavorful, nutritious eats. In addition to ready-to-eat meals, they have cold-pressed juices, smoothies, energy bites, extra protein, veggie sides, and more to keep you energized during frantic times. Head to factormeals.com/KFC50 and use code KFC50 to get 50% off. That's code KFC50 at factormeals.com/KFC50, code KFC50 to get 50% off.
I think it is an option to just stay out of it. I get that.
But I'm not. The problem with that is that it leaves Kelly high and dry, and I
do get that feeling too.
I will say right off the bat that the responsibility for the failure of Barstool Radio in our iteration is at least 50% mine, if not more. When we came in on the day Monday, yesterday, I saw Kelly as we were walking into the office, and I was like, I don't think we should talk about this stuff. And the reason was I thought it would create this endless loop of, okay, Nate talked about it on Friday. Ohio Tate writes the blog. Monday, Francis and Kelly come in. They address it. They get mad at Nate. They get mad at Tate. He writes another blog. Nate comes back on Friday and addresses everything we talked about on Monday. And on and on and on we go. And I thought that would get very tiresome.
And so that's kind of my thought is, aren't you relieved? Because, yes, you're right. That would get tiresome. And, yes, that is what Barstool Radio is.
Also, that's...
And,
Well,
yes,
right.
that is
Yes,
definitely my
when we
fault.
failed,
then.
I was like, thank God.
Maybe I should have had a longer conversation with you. Because what you just described is like literally the show. And that's where like if I had known that about you, like that you don't want to do that or find that tiresome or grating, because by the way, it fucking is, and that's why this is a very like it's not just a show that anybody can do. It's probably only, we were talking before you guys came in how there's only Dave and Kirk and people like that can do it. If I had known you really felt that way, I would have been like, I don't think this is for you. But I thought that it was kind of understood. Like, I was describing it as when the drama is on, it's good, meaning the show is performing well. That's what the audience likes. When it's down is when you got to, like, carry it. But when the drama hits, you got to do the drama.
Without a doubt. And to me, a little backstory here, a couple months ago, Kelly and I got together. We enjoy working with each other. I think we have a little bit of we like to try to dress a little bit and drink wine and all that bullshit. And we thought maybe there was an opportunity for some kind of a show about that. We were kind of meeting and to try to see if there was a morning show. And the person who behind the scenes was helping us organize that got let go in the huge layoffs, and that kind of evaporated. And so when this opportunity came around, I think both of us were a little bit excited about, well, maybe this is the chance for us to create the show we wanted. Sure. And I
also think was we talked about before this all even started. I said all those things.
The morning show thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I told you that backstory. I told you what maybe we can turn Barstool Radio into. You said that the drama is good when it's not manufactured. Agreed. This whole thing with the blogs on Friday, apart from the conversations with Hubs and Nate about the blog itself, no one else talked about it or cared about it. I got one text from Big Cat saying oh, ha, ha, great blog. That's it. The only people that were talking about it were the trolls in my replies, because I saw Kirk was retweeting it a bunch. So that's not the world that I live in. So I didn't think it was anything outside of my own immediate world. I thought it feels heavy for me because I'm in the middle of it. No one else is talking about it. No one tweeted about it. No one said shit. So I thought no one's interested in this. The guy wrote this blog out of nowhere. I don't know him. He's calling me lazy, saying I don't work. He thinks he's got me with all this proof. It makes no fucking sense. It was stupid in my opinion.
We were saying how,
but that's what the show is.
He's taking victory laps as if he brought me down.
Yeah,
I'm you don't know what the fuck are you talking about?
Literally nobody. There's plenty of people who are they don't earn their contract. They don't work. They should be let go. Whatever. Kelly has never ever been even mentioned in that.
Thank you for saying that, because nobody else has. And that's my only concern is what Dave thinks. And at right now, Dave thinks that
it's hard
Tate's
for people
blog is
to
real.
jump under the bus with Dave, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know, but it's but we're all we're gonna watch. I've never been thrown under the bus harder than I am with this situation, and it's fine, whatever. I'll wear this. There's nothing I can do about it now. It's too late. Everybody, it's my fault that Barstool Radio is over, according to everybody else.
No, it's
well, you know that it is.
No, it's not. They came on. We were talking
Dave
about how
is literally saying it's my fault alone.
But you're reading immediate tweets. I'm saying on our show, we failed. It's our fault.
I blame Kevin 12%.
You should have talked about it. I said no. I said you're not lazy. I said no one thought. I don't know where.
I appreciate you saying that, but I'm saying
Nate gave me 12%. I will up it to 18%.
Until this moment, no one has said shit 20? About it.
But I waited until I was in front of the microphone to talk about it. Where do you want me to say these things?
I don't know. To my face yesterday, it would have been nice.
I said that yesterday. We were saying that we failed. We started the ball rolling. We failed. Then you guys failed. You did fail. You did a bad job on that show. And I don't know.
But that's okay.
But no one ever questioned your work ethic.
I guess it just was. I don't give a fuck what Nate has to say. What?
I get what you're saying. When I was going through that shit with Smitty, and I felt like shit every day, I was wondering. People were nice to me and stuff, my friends. I was like, why isn't anybody vocal about this on Twitter? And then they were like, it's not my thing to get involved with. I don't want to be dragged into
It's
this
true,
I
though.
get
mess.
that,
That's
but
true.
also,
It's
but
hard-
like the
it's hard
fact,
to-
like that Nate is still sitting here. I don't know if you got what the conversation you guys had before this. None of this would even be a conversation if you didn't try to paint the narrative that no one wants to work
Don't
on
blame
Fridays.
me. Don't blame me.
I don't think
I'm
you
saying
should blame
that
Nate. I think Nate should have been.
Nobody does. Like it's just
Well, because Nate did a good show.
he did a good show one day on Friday.
Yeah, he did a good show.
didn't even have a-
and then
he
you
didn't
guys
have a
chose not to
chance.
reply to it, and that was an issue.
What he said the same things we talked about all week. What would we have replied to? He regurgitated exactly what he said to our faces on the show, but then said it again in a 2-minute scripted monologue, and then talked about how the company's nothing without him for an hour.
I mean, if
What-
you
what
didn't think it
about
was
that
interesting, then I think again it
I
should
thought
be a
the Dante
relief
thing
that
was
you don't have to
great.
show
I
it.
thought the Dante thing was great. I thought I liked the segments. I liked that you had some time to plan it out. That's something that we would have loved to have had, but we didn't have that. And we're still trying to figure out the situation, so we weren't there yet. And all of that drama happened at one time. Like it was not supposed to start out being drama all the time, but then Erica resigned, and then Dave was in the office, and then all that
that's
shit
when it's
happened at
good.
once. No, and it was all fine.
Like that's
So
when
we
it
didn't-
started. Dave
happened
took back
for
the
a week
company.
and a
We
half.
had the layoffs
Yes.
and we had the mean girls, and it was like, this is good.
And it was
I know.
great. But
So
then
we
we're
had,
gonna
like-
keep going with the same conversation just because like now
but
it's
to
in
be
the
honest,
world that
Kel,
nobody
to be
wants
honest,
to
Kel,
work, and I'm
kinda-
the laziest one here.
No, not that. But to be honest, yeah, like that is what Barstool Radio listeners want, is that shit.
Right. So
right.
I think what happened
sucks.
is that we weren't Barstool Radio.
Right.
That's just what it
No,
was.
true.
We
I-
wanted to do the Kelly and Francis show. It was under the banner of Barstool Radio. The people who drive that show have the obligation to do that show.
Exactly.
And we failed at doing that show. And that's fine. I can't be, and I don't think Kelly wants to be, the host of that show.
right, yeah.
We're
No,
just
but
not.
again, like it didn't when it was presented, it didn't sound like that was going to be the show. Like it sounded like this isn't going to be the show anymore. We're going to turn it into something else similar to like the Yak or whatever. We need something in New York that is like that because this isn't working. So I wrote that fucking novel email to everybody. I'm talking about an hour long with you, talking about with you, 25 minutes on the phone with you. I don't know how many people I talked to on the phone about this. And I
then
thought
I'm
everyone
sorry.
was on the
Then-
same page.
Then I
I
am
really
sorry
did.
if I didn't convey. I thought I said like you do the drama when there's drama, and then the in between is where you have to
And
have
we
a
and we
good
were doing
show.
the drama when there was drama, but yes, we did not think that
Look-
this would continue. And being in the middle of it, I didn't know if it was interesting or not. I asked, "Is this interesting?" Everyone was like, whatever. We're gonna get stuck in this spin cycle." And I agreed completely. I said, "Yes, we're gonna just talk about the same fucking thing for 4 days again, and then Nate's gonna talk about the same thing on Friday, and it'll go on forever." Like, who
But like
wants-
that's what we
already
did with
people
the
were
mean girls,
saying-
and it was like
I know, but
monster
already people were.
numbers
I was under the impression that people were sick of it already and wanted us to move past it. Like that's
Here's how
But you
naive
love
I
I mean,
was.
like you're
No, I do.
You're
I,
from the
yes,
reality world,
and
you
I am
know.
so fine with drama. But I also know when you harp on about the exact same thing, it gets stale. Like you can't.
But
how long?
there wasn't the exact same thing.
The Ohio Tate, you mean?
Ohio Tate. That blog stemmed from you pretending
You
like I
have
don't
to-
work on
you
Fridays.
have to stop blaming me. You have to. You have to stop.
I would
blaming
like
me.
you to take a little accountability for stirring up the narrative that no one wants to do shit on Fridays.
I took
That's the only
I took a
accountability I want you to
1%
take.
blame.
I
Fucking cunt, Nate. I swear to God, I literally like.
I think Nate. I think that
John
was
said
funny.
that was too
But like,
high.
I don't think you're taking accountability either.
I said that if anyone else had told me that Tate thing was worth talking about, I will give.
But you
Nick Hale-
blogged it, Kel.
No, I replied to his blog,
That's
and
what I mean.
and all I got in response to it from anybody was, "Dan, hey, great blog." I thought
But
it was
how
over.
often do I don't know. Like I've done a radio. We've done shows for 10 years. I don't ever talk about what
His
people text
original
me
blog
about.
made no fucking sense to me. I'm saying he said like, look, she says she blogs on Fridays. Look at all these Fridays that she hasn't had a blog. And I said in that clip he was referencing, I said blog. Other points in the show and other days on the show, I said Friday is the day that I write my newsletter. So I included all my newsletters, how many fucking subscribers I have,
like,
and all
this
the shit
is-
that I'm
this
doing.
is good.
No,
This is
but
good radio.
No, but I wrote that on the blog, and then it doesn't matter what I say because nobody cares about that. Dave already saw. Thinks I'm lazy. All this bullshit's happening. I'm not going to sit here and argue semantics with Ohio's Tate, who has an issue with me because he tried to blow up a joke that I said that I don't want to. I like working from home
Yeah,
on Fridays.
she-
so
But I
don't
think,
wear
I
makeup.
think
was
if you said just that right there
And then
on
him
radio,
all day long, please don't get me started. Don't get me started on her saying she doesn't want to makeup. You knew it was a fucking joke. Why are you?
That's
acting
why
like
I
it's
didn't
not?
address. Because I didn't. That's why I didn't address
No, but you
it.
rolled your eyes as if you were on the side of everybody
why I
else.
didn't address it.
It's like no one has thrown me under the bus harder than Nate, and it's very.
I would say nobody's had your
infuriating to
back
me.
more than me.
Bullshit. It's
Okay,
fake. You
all right.
know that it's fucking fake.
Not.
Listen.
Yes, it is.
It's
I
simply not. Kelly.
to Kelly's point, when all of this happened on Monday, yesterday.
I need to interject real quick. I didn't bring it up on the show, the Ohio Tate thing, and I pushed his blog to after my thing.
No, you did bring it up on the show. You said Ohio Tate has a blog coming out right after radio.
Because I thought the makeup thing was so stupid, and his whole point of his blog was you and the makeup thing, that I didn't even want to address it.
You guys said that you didn't even know if you wanted to publish the blog. It was so insignificant.
Because I feel like publishing a blog from him is as close to publishing a internet commenter's blog.
Yeah, let me real quick say Ohio Tate throwing shots at people.
You replied to it, so it was worth talking about.
Because they posted it and he was accusing me of not working, and I said, yes, I do work, in case Dave ever sees.
You heard me talking in the office. I didn't want to publish it. I had your back through that whole thing. You know that.
Well, okay, here.
But
wait. Let me just say this about Ohio State. If everybody feels that way about him, he probably shouldn't have a fucking handle and a job.
That's not my call, though, obviously.
Right. So if he does and he's writing, it's incredible bullshit to throw shots at people, get them in trouble with their boss, get them fucking having people coming at them on the internet while you are literally hiding behind a fake name because you want to be a gym teacher and
you also
you can't
so
get
pissed
doxxed.
about pictures.
That guy,
I took those from Google, bro. I Googled him and
put
took
that
pictures.
motherfucker on blast. I would say,
dude, I said we're gonna fly to Cincinnati and plant troves of child pornography.
I would. That guy, if you're gonna make my life miserable, you're losing your job as a fucking gym teacher. I promise.
It's easy to talk shit, but you don't have to come and look somebody in the face.
Right.
And it's like, that's all fine.
But
and I understand.
That being understood,
it was just not
like
factual.
Dave Portnoy has had arguments with like fucking interns on Barstool Radio.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the nature of this job and that show is like you come in this arena and it's kind of like a fair fight. Or you dunk on someone and be like, you're a fucking nobody, get the fuck out of the studio. And it's like what you just said would probably have been great on radio.
Like, say you did talk about it yesterday, but your mindset wasn't like, I have to address this. Let's say someone told you to, Pat or Tommy or whatever. It just would have been the show just wasn't for you guys then. Like, that's fine.
I know. We've admitted that.
Or somebody
we weren't the right people for it.
In your ear was just like, yo, you guys have to talk about this. Would you have done it?
Of course.
Yeah.
I had no fucking idea that people were watching.
No, someone called in about
Taylor
Swift.
There were a
and
couple
Travis
other
Kelce.
like Taylor Swift calls. I was like, all right, we're done talking about that. One popped up for a minute that said Ohio Tate, and then it went away, and that was it. They said nothing in the. I don't know if they were screening behind because they heard us talk about it beforehand, but no. And I had no idea how many people were watching and waiting for it. No one in the office said anything to me before we went on. Like, I came out and Clemmer, and the only person who said something to me afterwards was Clemmer. He's like, why didn't you mention it? I was like, because it's bullshit, whatever. Like, who cares? No one else was around. No one said anything.
Can I also
but then I would say that I think you guys don't have a good radar on
100%.
Well,
and
clearly,
my radar,
which again, like,
I have brought up stuff that after shows people have been like, we cannot talk about that. And I'm like, what the fuck? Where's the line? I don't know, which is why I get fired. I have no idea what is inbounds and what is out of bounds.
This company is a very,
it's so arbitrary. It's like, we can't, we don't really talk about the Chicago, New York office beef, and we don't do this, and yet, like, how come we're not addressing Ohio Tate?
Yeah, I know. You're right. It's fair.
What the fuck is allowed and not?
But what I would say to that is I would always err on the side of doing it than not doing it.
But that's what
I think a good line would be
you have a very good argument.
I can't lose my job, and I just
but you would never lose your job for talking shit about an employee.
But
I would avoid
think
dead people from now on.
I get what you're saying, Francis, and because there are so many.
Don't do this.
Dips
don't
and
do
dives.
That. Yeah.
But I think a pretty good barometer that I would use is if it's on the blog, talk about it.
Yeah. That's
fair enough.
Originally, I think what Barstool Radio was like, we're going to make the blog radio.
Yes, but like,
and
okay.
if I didn't convey that enough,
I don't know.
I am sorry for that.
I feel fucking stupid because I feel like everybody all of a sudden everybody is like, wow, you didn't know this? And I swear to God, like, I'm not trying to come in here and like not take accountability and whatever. I just feel like it was presented to me in a completely different way than I thought it was. Like, I just didn't feel like it was presented to me in the way of like, this is Barstool Radio. It's drama only. It will stay this way. And are you willing to rise up to the task? Like, why else would I be like saying all that other shit? People were texting me. Roan texted me after I sent that email and said, great, can't wait to see what this becomes. You're saying, oh, great, you took initiative. Like, everyone's being super supportive.
Are you saying that I didn't, are you directing that at me? Because if I was unclear that like I should have said
like you should have been more clear. Yes, and I agree. You should have been more clear. But how is it that I'm the one that missed this?
Because I remember saying like when the drama happens, I would even come back or we would do it. Like
Kelly, I blame Kevin 12%.
But then I remember saying,
what do you blame him?
I can't tell how much I blame him because in my head,
Infinite?
It wasn't presented to me as this, and it should have just been said like, no, this is Barstool Radio.
Let me just say, okay, on that front, I remember saying,
But everybody,
when there's
Nate fucking
drama,
knows and everybody
I will
knows.
come
It's like-
back and do it. And then I remember thinking, that's not fair if I just swoop in for the good times. It's their show. When the drama is popping off and the numbers are going and fans love it, they should get to reap the benefits because they are doing the sludge part too. So I remember thinking like, maybe I won't do that. So, but I still thought we understood that it was going to still be about inter-Barstool stuff, and sometimes that was going to be drama.
I guess I didn't, and I.
Okay.
It's crazy
Well,
that,
then,
that I'm the only one that didn't. Like I did not know that. This is like, that's why I'm so confused by this. I have no idea how I missed it.
Well, it's not. It's made more for Kirk and Dave and
Yeah, I mean, look,
like
I'm-
that's a better iteration of me and John, you two.
if it
then
took-
the original, then Ronan and Caleb, then there's been many different versions of it. The Liz Gonzalez, like
right.
the,
If it
it's
took
more
this failure, Kelly and I have a running joke that any time I can bring her name up, I do.
the best.
It's like when Hitchcock used to appear in his movies every movie for Stan Lee as well. Like, well, there it is. That's him. There's Stan Lee in the Marvel movie. No, but like, if it took our colossal failure to finally bring home the point to Dave that he is needed to do this, and he's now brought Kirk and Whit, which it's like
That show
that's
would
talk
never-
about the dream team.
Right.
If that's what it took, I can't be all that sad because I'm a fan of that show.
Right.
That's the show I would have wanted it to
Barstool
be.
needs that
Yes.
show.
So now to John's point about if it's on the blog, then it's fair game. The blog is arbitrary too.
Correct.
I have
But
written
at least the blog has. Sometimes when
Yes,
you're
but-
speaking, it just comes out of your head. The blog, at least someone thinking,
But
should
is
this
good
go
enough.
up?
knowing what Dave is going to react positively or negatively to is
luck.
flip a coin
Yeah.
because I have had blogs that I've written and sent off and Nate has been like, careful, no. And then he has had some where he's been like, you should write this, and we have, and then it has pissed Dave off.
Yeah.
And it's an impossible job that he has.
Yeah.
I am a writer who tries to go right to the line and dance along it and not go over. And you know,
It's hard.
It's a tough thing. Like
It's not an easy job.
I would
It really
get
is
it.
not.
I don't write ever anymore, but when
should
I'm
change
speaking,
that.
I try and err on the side of don't get close to the line. If there's something, if I'm not sure about something, just don't say it at all. Writing, I would try and get close to the line because again, at least you have a safety net there.
Yeah.
yeah.
You can read it over once or whatever. I also like, you don't want to piss off Dave, but like he's not gonna fire anybody. He's not like actually.
I've heard that before. I hear this all the time.
talking about?
I'm literally
That's-
living proof. 3 years I wandered. 3 years I wandered out alone in the cold.
idiot, Kevin.
I already know. It's very clear that Taylor Swift only goes so far. Like, I mean, for me,
No,
that's the
like,
only connection
okay,
I have with
yes,
Dave.
I definitely. You're the wrong person to say it to. You will never like if you a situation like this is not. You're not gonna get like fired because he doesn't think you work. You're in the mix. It's all part of it. He knows that you do work. Like you fucked something up, but it's like you're still gonna be here and do.
Yes,
If you
but
write
I
about a dead
have-
girl and then we get national.
I have
yeah,
7
we get
months
nationally
left on
bad
my
press.
contract, and to be embroiled, you know, you don't want to add
I get that.
negative stuff to Dave's like
sure.
sheet as he's considering whether or not to renew you.
I feel you.
And
Exactly. Which is why, like, I don't know why. Like, I understand infighting and fun and whatever, but I've never liked, and I've said this when you guys did radio, and I said it, I think, in our conversation when we talked about it. I hate the people that call out other people or think that they're calling out other people for their work ethic or how much they get paid or what time they come to work or whatever.
that
I
shit
think that's a
sucks.
toxic
There's
thing.
one person who can do that, and that's the boss.
Exactly, and
Or
I think
crazy
I think it's
people, like, who just don't
fucking
care.
Crazy
Right.
to start.
That's why
trying
this
to like
job
using
sucks.
that as an
Yeah.
excuse to elevate yourself, which is why I'm pissed at you. And it's like I think that cultivates a mood in the office that's shit. Nobody should be afraid of fucking Big Brother. Big Brother is Dave. That's it. I shouldn't have to worry about whether, like, I don't have to catching strays because some bumfuck in the middle of Ohio says I don't work. Like, you have no fucking idea what I do. So it's like, how do you even know that? And I think it's insane that it's used for content. And I think that, you know, everybody's always talking about Chicago, New York, Chicago, New York. Chicago never fucking does that. So, and it works for them and they all get along great. So why can't we do the same thing? It feels like old dog, you know, can't learn new tricks. Why can't we?
Yeah,
and why do we have to keep
If you can't
doing
prop
this
yourself
bullshit?
up but without putting other people down.
Right.
You know?
I feel like that's crazy. I mean, people think, and even just having said that, people will give me shit because of the Mean Girls thing. People think I wrote that one blog about the Mean Girls because they were stupid and I deserve all of this. I deserve everything that's coming for me. I can't talk shit. I can't say anything. I do not think this is the same situation at all. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like
I don't think it's as different as you think, but it's not that you didn't call out their work
well, the difference
ethic.
is that everybody that the three of the biggest people in the company had their backs, and instead it's opposite for me. That's the difference.
Had whose backs?
Dave and Kevin and Dan all had the Mean Girls backs.
I do think it's similar to like you. I do think you were talking about work ethic and coming to the office and stuff like that.
I don't think I was. I not until
Mean
after.
Girls?
They didn't stop coming to the office until after. At the time, I said my main point of the thing was that they were putting out stupid clips on purpose for
Right,
clicks,
right.
and it made everybody look stupid.
Right.
And everybody jumped on that, and then so now I deserve everything that
I think
comes
it's
out
in the
of this
same
because of it.
ballpark as like you're talking about other people's work and whether or not whether you think you work hard or whether you like their content are in the same realm.
But I don't think I said work hard at all. Like I wasn't
Right, no, I'm
questioning
saying
that.
you said
Right.
you didn't like
But that's
their
what I'm saying.
content. I'm saying those are
I don't
similar,
think
they're
that they're
not-
the same. I think me being like I think your content's stupid and makes me feel stupid and in general is different than you don't do any work, you're lazy.
Right.
I never
think they
called
both
them lazy.
have. I think they both have an air of you don't deserve to work here.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's in the very like the bigger universe of like we are discussing other people's jobs and whether they deserve it or deserve to work here or are as funny as they think they are or get the push that they're getting.
Yeah.
It's like
Well, regardless, I get shit being like, you know, you can dish it, you can't take it. In what world am I not taking this right now? I feel like I'm taking
you're
it.
always there. No, you're always there
it's crazy.
to go on the show, to hop on the mic, to write the blog, whatever. I think that is undeniable.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah. You
I'll be
just-
steaming about this for a while. I won't lie,
Yeah.
but I'll get over it.
But I think I honestly think like it when we failed at radio, I was like not thank God, but I was like that wasn't for me.
Oh no,
anyway.
no, you're
I think
right
you
about that.
guys
You said that
are the
before.
same way.
You're right. That show, the version of the show that everybody's wanting, whatever. No way.
Yeah.
Like I
So
wouldn't have said yes if
Yeah.
I thought it was that. So yes, we failed in that. I did not.
Yeah.
Just didn't even get it. But okay.
I'd like to up it to 14. 14. I've landed on 14%. You're
For
you.
me, I already agreed to 18.
That's too high.
Okay, thank you, Nate. All right, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like, and leave a comment below. Click that button.
Or I'll cut off my finger.